Hi Andrew, how are you doing today?
Doing well, Pallavi. How are you?
Great as well, thanks. How was your time at All Things Open Conference?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. All Things Open is in Raleigh, where I live, so it's right down the road. I
Yeah,
got to meet a whole bunch of people I don't normally get to see in real life,
okay,
and it's a big event. They had at peak time 2,400 people, which
oh,
post COVID is amazing.
right.
So got amazing talks, amazing keynotes, really cool swag they're giving away. It's a good
Okay,
time.
that's good to know. So Andrew, before we talk about what are you going for the conference, your topic about the conference, can I request you to please introduce yourself? Although I'm sure people already know who Automation Panda Andrew is, but still.
No problem. So, hello everyone. My name is Sandy Knight. I'm Automation Panda. It's nice to meet you all. Historically, for over a decade, I've been in the software testing and automation engineering space. I build solutions to testing problems. Currently, though, for about a year, I have been a developer advocate at Applitools, where I help people get the most value of their test automation and specifically their visual testing.
Right.
At Applitools, I'm also director of Test Automation University, where we provide dozens of courses online on all things testing and automation from some of the world's best instructors. And we offer all these courses for free. So if you haven't seen it before, check out Test Automation University.
Okay. I think Test Automation University just changed the landscape and shifted the focus from Udemy to, and it's like one-stop solution for anyone who is an enthusiast about automation and into testing to go to place and to upskill and learn as well. That's a great effort by Apply Tools, Andrew, and
Thank you.
by you as well and your team. So about the topic, Andrew, autonomous testing. Can you throw some light on it? What it will be about?
Sure, absolutely. We've all been around tech for either short or long. We've seen trends change, right? We from where we started to the point of today, whether that was a year ago or 100 years ago, things are always marching towards progress, or at least we hope. And so when I look back on what's been going on with test automation, I kind of I've seen two major waves in the past, and I see a third wave coming very soon.
Okay.
In the past, the first wave of automation I've seen has been when test automation first became viable. And so historically, people would run manual tests. They'd have these big repositories with these very long test case step procedures.
Hmm.
The first wave was, hey, why don't we just automate the manual test cases we already have,
Right.
right? We'd be able to run it a few more times, maybe weekly, maybe monthly or nightly or something.
Hmm.
And so that was great because it was the first step. It got people, realizing, oh, testing needs engineering, not
Hmm.
just exploration.
Hmm.
Um, but it was tough because a lot of those tests were not suitable for automation,
Right.
right? The longer the test, the more likely something is to break. So
Yes.
then the second wave came along, and I consider that wave to be the continuous testing wave. The
Okay.
idea of, oh, there's CI/CD systems. It's very continuous integration is now the norm, right? We have these pipelines. Anytime we make a change, it should automatically trigger a thing that automatically runs tests as part of that. And so we focused more on things like a testing pyramid, where we should push down the pyramid to smaller, more stable tests.
Hmm.
Not to say that things at the top of the pyramid were bad, just that they were more complex and needed more attention, more risk, all that stuff. And also the idea of triggering, right? We weren't there smashing the button ourselves. It was just something that was baked into a system that would automatically run.
Right.
And so this unlocked a lot of potential, right? People were able to move fast without breaking things.
Hmm.
The tests we wrote were more atomic. We also recognize there's still value in manual testing, but these are now, very different kinds of things. We want our manual testing to be more exploratory, our automated testing to be more scripted. But the problem here is, even though it was categorically better from an engineering standpoint than the first wave, it was still, how to say, inaccessible to a lot of people,
Okay.
right? Because it needed a high level of expertise in engineering, and a lot of folks historically done manual testing were kind
Hmm.
of left out, or like there's a different skill set, a different learning curve,
You're
um,
right. Yeah.
right? And also, it required a lot more time, a lot more energy. When
Hmm.
things break, break. If you're just running a test yourself and it breaks, oh, and I can auto recover myself. But if you take down all of production and CI at the same time, holy crap, I did that in NetApp. Wow, that was a story. Let me tell you what, years ago.
Okay.
Anyway, so it's tough, and even to this day, I mean, we see all these talks about like, oh, how far are you into your agile transformation or your digital transformation? Are you making the DevOps happen? Right? This seems to be something that even today everybody likes to say or pretend they're doing, but internally there's lots of struggle, there's lots of doubt. It's not always the case that that's happening.
Okay.
So what I see with autonomous testing is a way to solve that issue. When I say autonomous testing, what I mean is that we have tools and frameworks that will not only execute tests on their own, but figure out what those tests should be.
Okay.
Right? Like right now, when we say we do automated testing with something like Cypress or Playwright, right? There's still a human element in there. Why? Because it's the human developer, programmer, tester, whatever you want to call the person, who has to think about what are my test steps and then implement them. And that's a lot of energy, right? An autonomous testing tool, in my view, should be able to look at a product. It should be able to look at an app or a feature or an API, and backed by machine learning and AI, be able to learn what the behaviors are in that thing, and then determine of those behaviors what should be tested.
Okay.
Right? So that if you point it, let's say, at a login page, it should recognize, oh, this is a login page. I recognize this. Username field, password field, login button. It should be able to see that, know what the behaviors are, and then just be able to go test it automatically. Another aspect of this could be coaching, where maybe it doesn't just jump to it right away, but maybe it looks at your app and then reports back to you, the developer, tester, person of interest, and says, hey, these are the behaviors that we identified. And here are some suggestions for tests that could be done. And then we as the humans be like, oh, okay, so this one's good. This was, man, they went way off into left field. That's no. Oh, but this one is good. And so there's a coaching that there can be like a suggestion system to be like, hey, and that can help like us as people miss blind spots.
Right.
So that's the idea behind autonomous testing, where the autonomous testing tool will handle interaction and verification for us. And what that can do is that can really lower the barrier of entry for teams who have historically struggled getting all that automation in place, right? You have more help to get that done, So that's what I'm predicting is the next great wave. Already we're starting to see some tools like this. There are certain things I can't say publicly, unfortunately, but I've seen privately. I'm just like, ooh. But what I can say is that it's not smoke and mirrors. Coming in the coming years. It's not going to be tomorrow, but next year, the following year, early to mid 2020s, we're going to see these tools hit the market, and it's going to be a game changer. So I'm excited to see that happen. I'm excited to get people ready for that.
Okay.
And I'm sure there's stuff that I don't even know is coming too.
Okay. Okay. Wow. So it's like it's not going to be delayed. It's like the next day we can just see all this coming into testing and changing the way the testing is done as of today.
I'm hopeful. I mean, any technology takes time, right? There's a bell curve there, But I'm predicting, by 2030, autonomous tools will just be normal parts of the process. Like, how did we live without this? Kind of like we look at something like Docker containers. Back in 2012, they were like the new hotness. Like, oh my gosh. And now it's just like, what do you mean you're not containerizing? Like, I think it's going to be like one of those things.
I think you're right. So, Andrew, from the topic, I have a question for you. So I have seen and attended some of your talks on tool versus tool and language versus language. What is your favorite test automation tool? And I think your favorite language is Python. I'm just guessing. I'm not sure.
Nailed it. Yeah. Great question. So, I hate to play favorites, but if you're making me choose, a language right now, I would say Python. I love Python because I think it's simple yet powerful. You can use this much code to do this much awesome things. You can import almost anything. And the community behind Python is wonderful. Like I have legit friends in the Python community. I love it. Now, as far as a favorite testing tool or framework, right now I'd have to say Playwright.
Okay.
Playwright is this, it's a new web UI testing tool from Microsoft,
Right.
open source. They've got a team of developers as well as Debbie O'Brien, developer advocate. What I love about Playwright is that they have learned from a decade plus of us trying to do UI automation and done it right. You know,
Okay.
it is a rich framework. Unlike Selenium, that's just kind of a tool for automation.
Right.
Playwright is a full-fledged test framework
Right.
where it, depending on what language you're using, it either, like in JavaScript, it provides its own test runner, or in something like Python, integrates with Python beautifully. But it provides nice features like synchronization, automatic waiting, really good reporting, debugging, and it is lightning fast. Like, oh my gosh, like you compare like a Selenium WebDriver run to a Cypress run, or sorry, a Playwright
Playwright.
run.
Yeah.
It's Cypress, again, it used to have a large disparity. Cypress has been doing some things to optimize, so Cypress to Playwright is getting closer, but Playwright, I believe, still has that edge.
Okay.
I love the Playwright team. I love the API with Playwright. I love how they keep pushing the boundaries of what is possible. They keep adding new features. It's awesome. So I am also a Playwright ambassador now.
Okay.
So I mean I get to play with sandbox. So I there's nothing wrong with him. I do Cypress. Ain't nothing wrong with Cypress. But if you're gonna make me choose, and I get to choose, I choose Playwright.
Okay. Okay. That's a good choice. I would agree. So, Andrew, one last question, non-testing, not related to any language as well. So you have been to many countries, I'm sure, because of your traveling and conferences. Which is one place you haven't seen yet and you would like to see?
Oh my gosh. Um, Tibet. I would love to be able to go to Tibet. I've been to
Okay.
China, but I have not
Okay.
been to Tibet. Um,
Okay.
it's such a unique, interesting place. I don't
Mm.
know if there'd ever be a tech conference in Tibet,
Okay.
given the culture and the history and everything. But
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay. Good choice. Okay. Okay, Andrew, thank you so much for your time. And it was pleasure hearing you. And thank you so much for accepting the invite for the speaker for the GTR 2022 conference. We will see you there.
well, thank you for inviting me, and thank you for this interview. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Probably.
Bye, Andrew.